Okay, this is the addiction cluster. This has got a lot of meat to it. Addiction is a way to meet your needs and wants in a misapplied or dysfunctional way. It is any activity that you cannot control and gets worse over time. It is the use of a substance or behavior for the purpose of removing pain or gaining pleasure. It is the forfeiture of agency. Now you have to go back and you have to find the deliberate practice cluster to have agency defined. Addiction, therefore, is when you lose control over your behavior and it perpetually gets worse. This one might take a little listening to it again to really get the spirit of what this definition means. Now, I added this most recently called a functional addict. This describes an individual who can socially function despite their primary and comorbid addictions. Comorbid means, so if this is my primary addiction, comorbid means there's all these little satellite addictions that surround the primary addiction. So if I'm an alcoholic and I start working on my alcoholism and then say I'm sober for a month, my anger will start surfacing, my criticism, my sarcasm, my pornography, maybe my drug use. Those are comorbid addictions. We all have them. So one of the arguments that I make is it's great if you're 13 years sober from alcohol, but yet you're a complete wreck in your interpersonal relationships because of your anger, your pornography, and then you started cheating on your wife. Who the hell cares that you're free from alcohol? You're not really free from addiction. You're only free from alcohol. So a functional addict also is free. Being free from addiction means you're free from all the side addictions, the comorbid addictions as well. Rock bottom. Golly, I hear this a lot. Rock bottom is an individual, a tipping point where the fear of the perceived pain of change, so I'm an alcoholic, I want to be free from alcoholism. My fear of change is now less than the known fear and the known pain of continuing in my alcoholism. For many individuals, there is no rock bottom as they remain eternally in their addictive state or commit suicide to escape the pain. In other words, there really is no rock bottom that they'll turn around. It's really an individual, a tipping point. When the person realizes that the current pain they have is greater than the fear of the pain of change, they'll start changing. And it will be an incremental process during that changing. Now let's go to codependent. That's one of the big addictions. Codependence is giving permission for another's behavior to dictate or have control over your happiness, joy, and well-being. It is the false belief that drives maladaptive behavior. I've had clients literally come in my office and say, Dr. Himmer, I'm a recovering codependent addict, but I'm fine now, and then demand that the wife change. That person is giving permission for his then wife to completely control him. That's codependence. Collusion is the act of behaving in such a manner that you get exactly the opposite result or behavior you want. Codependence is collusionary. Addiction is collusionary. Violating rules of engagement, that's collusionary. Dependence, which we've covered in another one as well. Dependence means your job is to connect, attach, and accept your community. As a baby, mom, dad, parents. As an adult, self, God, immediate wife, husband, significant other, children, loved ones. Okay, that's dependence. You have to go to dependent to become independent, to become interdependent. All right? Emotional intimacy, mutual trust and respect. The highest form of a relationship. Divorces, I just can't picture someone getting a divorce if there's mutual trust and respect. If you start your marriage at a good place, based on trust and respect, emotional and not physical lust and sex, you have a higher probability of moving forward. This is not a religious thing, this is science. The more you mess around physically without connecting emotionally, the higher the probability you don't stay together. That's why Hollywood's a complete basket case of morals. because they don't understand trust and respect. They think that making love actually is trust and respect. It's not. That's making lust. In this environment, then, contextually, sex is an addiction. Physical intimacy is rewarding. I believe we were given physical intimacy from a God above to procreate, to thoroughly enjoy each other at a very, very deep level. But when we bypass emotional intimacy, it's just a way to meet your needs and wants in a misapplied or dysfunctional manner. It's an addiction. And I've said this to women for years. Gentlemen, the gateway to the bedroom of your wife is through emotional intimacy, mutual trust and respect, so she doesn't feel like an object. When we objectify each other physically, that's abuse. So just a way to look at that one. Okay. Triggered. What does it mean to be triggered? So I'm going to slightly change probably how you view that. Triggered is stimuli acknowledged in one's body brains that something is potentially dangerous or exciting. When used to protect one's boundaries, it is a healthy experience, and the person does not move to being flooded. Okay? Integrated, fragmented, or flooded. Being triggered is neutral. It signals something is amiss or out of alignment. It is negative when one moves to fight or flight. Therefore, what is flooded? Flooded is an opiate-induced state of fight, flight, freeze, or faint. It is that state where you collect negative energy and displace your healthy energy. It is a loss of agency, which we've covered, and associated with addiction. Flooded follows triggered if you don't harness it. So you see, being triggered is an awareness. Flooded is losing that awareness and losing control. All right? False narratives we'll cover. And that's going to be good. That's the addiction cluster. And then we'll pick up another cluster here in a minute. All right. Thanks.